That's the sound of the men working on the chain gang. Keep it strong.
What is up, blockchain gang? We are so back with this first impressions video for the Phantom Galaxies. Now, I want you to understand that the first 24 hours have been a rough launch, with the game crashing on me due to losing connection with the server over 20 times. And one time during a training exercise, Captain hit me with a missile so hard it broke the fourth wall and disconnected me. Yeah, that sucks. Oh no. I'm going to assume these issues will be worked out over the next few days, or at least a server queue will be implemented so the game can run for more than 30 minutes at a time for players. I just wanted to get that out of the way early and try not to hold it against the actual gameplay itself, but I think it should still be stated before you decide if you want to hop into this early access game or not. It can be found on Steam, Epic Games, or their website. It's free to play, uses the Polygon network, and this is not a sponsored video, so strap it down, pilots. First, I want to get a financial disclaimer out of the way. This is not financial advice. If you take this as financial advice, then you are, in fact, an idiot. Since I don't usually cover Web3 games until they're playable and their tokenomics are deployed, they're probably at or near their all-time highs. If anything, my videos should be a top signal, so please don't at me with how much money you lost on these Chuck E. Cheese tokens, because I am not the giant rat who sold them to you. Getting into the character creation, you will see that there is none. You can randomly generate attributes until you get one you like, and then you can name them. That is all. This is a ploy to sell NFT avatars. Listen to me, Web3 game devs. You cannot take something away from gamers that they are used to getting for free and start charging them for it. It will not work, as shown by this being one of the major complaints about the game on Steam, along with the network performance. Another questionable design choice is that you load into the game by pressing the spacebar from the character select screen. Nothing else will work, and this is repeated in multiple instances of the game. Just weird and restrictive keybinds that make no sense. I get into the game, and one of the first things I notice are how white not Elon Musk's teeth are, and how I'm clipping into the bodies of 100 other ugly as fuck players in this cutscene. I suppose you could ignore all of that because of Space Ghost or something, but let's talk about mobility. Walking feels not good, running feels bad, and what the fuck is this jump animation? Is this a AAA jump animation? Look, my heart goes out to the 35 or so people who poured their blood, sweat, and tears into this project over the past 3 years, but whoever decided to ship with this in the game needs to be fired. In fact, why is this even in the game? We want to be in mechs or a spaceship, and we want to do badass shit with them. All of this walking around and talking to people is only getting in the way of that. I'd rather stay in my ship and handle everything through cutscenes, radio dialogue, and menu screens than this part of the game that feels tacked on at the last minute, unpolished, and is going to make the vast majority of players quit the game before they even get to play it. I walk to a terminal and start the training session. Free rollers have a choice between the assault or the buster mech. I get into the training mission, and this is where the game should start, in my opinion. Controls are basic and pretty easy to grasp, but one thing that bugs me is that you have no speedometer. Your HUD expands as you go faster and shrinks as you slow down. W increases speed and S decreases speed just as it should, but in every spaceship game that I have ever played, you have a throttle. You set the throttle, and it doesn't move unless you move it. You will always be traveling at that speed. But if you release the W key, you don't maintain speed. You start to gradually slow down as if there were friction in the vast vacuum of space. Then it dawns on me that they've used vehicle controls for a spaceship game. You can boosty boost with shift, but it doesn't feel very boostful, and this generates heat as seen in the top right corner. Abilities also generate heat as well as mining, which means you have to choose carefully in a fight if you want to focus this resource on attacking or mobility. In the top left you have your health and shield. It seems as if your shield is not very balanced and starts regenerating only seconds after you stop taking damage. A and D strafe, but double tapping them execute a barrel roll. Q and E rotate the ship while steering is done with the mouse. I don't really have a problem with these controls, but the dead zone around the HUD seems to be a square. This means that when you're fighting other ships and you move your cursor up or down, you will hit the bounds much sooner and you'll start steering up or down, even though you don't want to. It feels a lot better when tracking enemies from left to right. Since computer monitors are a rectangle, the dead zone should also be a rectangle in order to make aiming up and down a lot easier in a dogfight. You have a few abilities with 1, 2, or 3, and you can change into your mech form by holding the G key. This form has better attack and defense stats but lacks the mobility of the ship. If you hit shift, you'll boost and automatically turn back into a spaceship, and I don't really like this choice of having multiple ways to transform, but only one way. While in mech form, you have a limited ability usage, which is odd, but you gain a melee attack with the V key, as well as an ultimate ability. Enemy ships are paper in the early game and die in only a few shots, but I find it easier to lock on to everything and just press 1, 2, or 3 to kill them faster without having to precisely aim or worry about reloading. The pacing of the first 3 missions have been terrible, yet still somewhat fun. What I mean is that you will travel 10 minutes away with 4 minutes of loading screens to escort a cargo ship that will get destroyed in less than 2 minutes. And this is the second mission. You'll have to stop a large ship from escaping the area in less than 2 minutes, and there's no warning or timer to let you know how close you are to losing. By the time you figure out how to even stop the ship, since this isn't ever explained to you, you've failed the mission and you have to go through another 10 minutes of traveling and loading just to retry the mission, which only takes 30 seconds to complete. They need to slow it down, add health and more enemies, and make these missions memorable encounters. The music is great, and the sounds are nice, especially near the warp gate. The voice acting is subpar, and one thing that bugs me is that when ships explode, they are so loud. Another pilot will destroy a pirate half a star system away, and it will sound like the fight took place in my cockpit. Then after you blow up a ship, the pilot will often have a delayed response of screaming in agony. Maybe this sci-fi radio has great reception and can transmit signals from the afterlife or something. Who knows? I see the appeal of fans and how much fun this game could potentially be, but I can't recommend it in its current state due to the server issues and the massive amount of work that needs to be done to make combat and overall gameplay feel better. I'm positive that if they didn't spend so much time and resources developing these space stations and nightclubs to show off player-owned avatars that are purely cosmetic, they could have released the game in a much more polished state when looking at the missions and gameplay itself. This is one example where I believe the blockchain has impeded the design of the game and player experience instead of enhancing it. I'm not going to waste much time going over the tokenomics, but they have NFTs of planets, they have NFTs of avatars, and they have NFTs of these mech spaceships that you can buy in different rarities that have different amounts of emissions, but they are definitely parasitic tokenomics because only about 1/3 of the total economy is reserved for players, while the rest is reserved for investors. This is Danny Draghi, and that is all I have for you today. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe so we can do this again sometime.
Need any refreshments?
No, I'm fine. Thanks for offering them.
Hard day at work?
Chasing pirates, saving freighters, the usual.
And I thank you for it. Have one on the house.
I can't. I'm on duty.
I don't mind. Still no? Maybe next time.
He just said he was going to give it to me for free.
Yeah, Mr. Laser.
Here it comes.
Here it comes.
You will be destroyed.
You're going
The
down.
explosion will be of extraordinary magnitude. Just hang on.
It takes a while.